Hello, good afternoon. This is Medi from Mending Hearts LLC, and I wanted to stop in live really quick to just have a conversation with you guys. I was feeling pretty inspired by leaving a book launch that we just did at the Ladies Empowerment Lunch, and we just launched our book, Live Your Optimal Life. And so I was inspired by some of the women there that we were all speaking, connecting, and as co-authors having a conversation just about our individual chapters. And it was a great time. It was nice. I had an activity planned for the summit just in case. But I was thinking in my head, and I was like, you know what? I think I want to share it with you all just as well, just in case that you wanted to do a little self love activity. As the majority of you guys know who have been following me know that I do a self love movement called UNA-pologetically. And sometimes we just need some of these activities to kind of push us and just get us on the path where we want to be, or trying to get there, kind of climbing the ladder that I have here, and I wanted to share that with you all. So I'll just give it a minute, um, so that people can come on. I can share my little tidbit with you all. So just really quick too. So Live Your Optimal Life. It is a book that I am co-authored in, and there is 18 of us that are on it. And it's a pretty inspiring book, and we all share different parts of our journeys in our life, trying to kind of give, I guess, feedback, or our share our stories are in how we are living our optimal life. I'm chapter 3, and for the next couple of days, I believe until tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, you can actually download a free copy, an ebook on Amazon. So if you go onto Amazon and type in Live Your Optimal Life, you can get your free copy today and tomorrow. And please feel free to write a review, even if you don't finish it. Just write a review on Amazon to tell us what you thought about it. But I am chapter 3, and you'll see it's on self love. So thank you to all the women that are part of this. Were part of this project. It was great. Thank you, Dr. Davia and Elizabeth Hill, for making this happen, and as well as Marianne Pack, and all the lovely ladies and some of my colleagues too that are on it and co-authors. Okay, so the self-love activity that I had planned for today. So I had brought in literally like little ladders. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps, right? And I also brought in mirrors. Anybody have been into any events that I've vended at, I oftentimes give mirrors, because there are reflections, and we need to look at ourselves in the mirror sometimes. And I know a lot of my clients or the people I work with will be like, I hate your mirrors. I get it. But it's a great tool. It's a great resource. And it's something that I do like to do, because what better way to look inside yourself than looking at a mirror and truly learning to be uncomfortable with yourself, and hopefully grow to love yourself, become inspired and motivated by your own things in your own life, and have your own energy from it. I will also root out a piece of paper, because you want a piece of paper when it comes to this activity. So you can set this up in your own way. I flipped the mirror back. If you have your own type of mirror, that's great. And most of you may not see. So when I put it on like a desk, I can pretty much hold the ladder to the mirror, such as this, right? I have 2 different platforms on Facebook and Instagram, so I'm trying to get everybody in this way. Obviously, you won't have the ladder because I have the ladder, but you can draw the ladder on a piece of paper, right? And if you have I highly recommend having an actual mirror, or you can use your phone, right? So draw a ladder that has 7 steps. So once that is done, here's what I'd like for you to do on your piece of paper. Grab a pen or a pencil. And what I'd like for you to do is utilize the paper. And I say mine has lines, so I'm only going to go a few lines up and draw. My line's going to look way off, but it's okay. I'm trying to emphasize the line for you all. See that line that I drew? It's going to be different from bottom to the top. Where you're going to draw your ladder is up here, right? Hope everybody can see that. So when you draw your ladder up here, and then my mirror would be up here on top of the ladder. Here's what I'd like for you to do. On the bottom, what I'd like for you to write is what blocks you from your self-love. Now, sometimes it's difficult, right? We have to start looking within ourselves to start identifying what blocks us, what blocks me from really loving myself unapologetically, authentically, genuinely, all my parts included. That's the good, the ones that look kind of ugly. And I don't want to say bad, because there are no bad parts of us. It is just who we are. There are parts that we may not like because they might show sides of us that we're like, man, I'm that type of person. But these are the things that we have to do to get to know those parts of us that we might be questioning ourselves, right? And that is okay for you to question your parts. But you have to get to know your parts and understand why they are there and very much so present in your life, because they're there for a reason, right? So beneath here are all the blocks. What blocks you from self-love? So I'm just going to write that reminder for you all. So that's here. Reminder that a ladder would go here, right? 7 steps. So after you complete that part, the next part is, what is it going to take for you to get to the top of ladder? The goal is for you to climb that ladder. And sometimes that might be difficult. For you, it might be difficult because some of us get stuck here. I can't reach the top because I'm blocking myself. It might be fear, right? It might be trauma. It might be what other people might be saying that hinders me from moving forward. What are the things that is blocking you from even going to step 1? Some people, let me see if I can draw a ladder. Don't laugh at my drawing. I'm not an artist. You can laugh at it. It's okay, because I probably laugh at it too. Some people get stuck here. If you can see the ladder. Some people get stuck right in the beginning. They can't even reach the first step because all these things seem to be blocking. But that's why I wanted you to put that line, because I want you to understand is that you no longer want these things to hinder your ability to move forward and to take that first step. You can think about it and you can say, hey, my trauma might be blocking me. Hey, what I think of myself might be blocking me. Hey, what other people are saying might be blocking me. But the reality is, those are just sayings. Those are just beliefs. Those are just thoughts, right? Things that can pass through. That is not you up here. You up here can make a decision, and that decision can say, I'm going to move forward and take that first step despite all the things that are trying to block me, because I intentionally placed a line in between myself and those things that block me. I acknowledge that they're there. I see and I hear that they're there, but it doesn't mean that they can impede upon my space and I'm going to take my first step. Utilize some of these things in order to take that first step. Here are some ideas that you might need in order to take that first step. Is it reaching out to friends? And I'm not saying any old friends. I'm saying, who are your supports and the ones that are going to cheer you on and say, yes, go take that first step. I'll be there right with you, or I'll be on video chat, or I'll hold your hand. You can do this, right? Those friends that are genuinely your friends that are going to support you. Is it just a self-care routine? Is your nervous system too riled up? Is it too anxious that you might need to do some self-care before? Maybe you need to do some meditation. Maybe you need a massage, something to help ease and calm your nervous system down so that way you can breathe and move forward. Is it your family? Do you have family that are supportive? Do you have family that is going to say, hey, you got this, you can do this, right? Are there boundaries that you have to set in place in order to reach that first step? Are people trying to impede and literally stop you from getting to that first step? It's time for you to set up boundaries, right? Say no or back off. Journal. Are you too much in your head? Do you need to write down and get all kind of the jitters out, right? The nerves, or try to understand why you feel the way you do. Journal it out. Meditate. Some people might find it difficult to meditate on their own, so therefore I always suggest do a guided meditation. Someone else kind of helping guide you through a meditative state. Use any other coping skill that you feel like can benefit you and might work for you. Affirmations. I love affirmations. I can do this. I see myself succeeding. I feel myself and my energy manifesting this, right? Manifesting my goal. Showing some gratitude to yourself. I'm grateful that I'm here and even contemplating a first step. I'm grateful for this moment that I have. Reaching out to any supports. Therapy. You guys know I'm an advocate for therapy. So therapy, talking to your therapist about what is it that you need to move forward? What are your blocks and things that are hindering you that can help you pivot and move past this? Grounding. Grounding is just another form of using a coping skill that helps you feel grounded. It helps you feel stable, secure, safe. Trust. Learning to trust yourself. Learning to say that despite what happens, whenever I take that first step, I'm going to align myself with the things that I need to, but I need to learn how to trust me, right? Whatever moves you to that first step, keep going. What's going to be the obstacle? If there's an obstacle in the second step or third step or fourth step, what are the other tools that you might need to move you to this, to get you to the top step? That top step is your self-love, right? Because it's a self-love activity. You can also use this type of thing when it comes to other goals that you might have in your life. Any other goal that you might be thinking, I want to be able to reach this goal, but there are things that are blocking me from that. And these are the things I need to figure out and that are hindering me. You can use this ladder just as well. The goal is to get to the top. So when it comes to this self-love activity is, what are the things that are blocking me from completely loving myself unapologetically, despite all these other things that have blocked my self-love in the past, or sometimes currently, right? Sometimes we might be feeling really good about ourselves, and then the next minute is like, man, this thing happened, and that it really took a hit to my heart. It took a hit to my identity, who I am, or the love that I had for myself. And then you wake up the next day like, what am I talking about? Like, that's crazy, right? But sometimes that happens. We start second guessing ourselves. It's part of our nature that we do that, because there's so many experiences that we take in on a daily basis that there is something that's bound to hinder you or to make you second guess what you're doing. right? Oftentimes, I can't tell you how many times in business that I'm second guessing, like, am I really doing this or should I do this? But then I think, man, you can do this because I'm passionate about it. I love what I do despite anything that might be an obstacle that sits in my way. These are the ladders. Oh, we're going this way. Those are the ladders, right? Identify any of the things that you can utilize to get from one step to the next. One of the things I had was reflection. Reflection is also an important piece out of this because at any given point in any of these steps in this ladder, you want to be able to reflect on that previous step and what you did to reach that next step, right? When you're up here and you have your mirror, right? And that's on top. The purpose is to understand is that a mirror is a reflection for you. You want to be able to reflect back and say, man, look at the journey that it took to get here. What are the things that helped me along my way? And what are the obstacles that I did face that might have either been a hindrance or a lesson? There are things in lives that in our lives that are very much so lessons that we want to be able to take heed to, and a lot of us might run from them. A lot of us might hold anger towards it. Whatever it is, you want to be able to reflect on it because there might be something there for us to learn, or maybe it was for something else, right? This doesn't speak to all traumas. It really doesn't. So don't take that little piece and run off and say, you said that this was a lesson, like if it's my fault. No. There are just things in life that we want to take heed from the messages that occur in those experiences. So pay attention to the lessons that you might be able to take from it. And that way reflect. And those are your mirrors that you're looking at. The mirror isn't to say, oh, I have to look all the way back and everything that I've done. Is to say, this is how much I've accomplished this. I can't tell you how many times I think about, I graduated grad school. I can't believe it's been 10 years, 10, 11 years or something like that, that I graduated from grad school. And I look back at it to this day and say, how did I even do that? How did I work full time? How did I, and working full time literally meant second shift, third shifts, going into sleeping like first shift and then coming back for a second shift and then going into internship for 3 days straight. I don't know how I did that because the Marianne today, I couldn't. I really couldn't. But we do that. There is something about the determination and drive that we end up having. And maybe it was part of that self-love journey that I had, the determination to say, I am going to do this and I'm going to do this for me. That's your ladder. It might be your inspiration. So take that one step at a time. Figure out what you need to get to the next step. Don't look up to the ladder and say, man, that is 7 steps that I have to climb, because sometimes that's so overwhelming that it creates procrastination and it feels like defeat, and therefore we don't do it. But do it. Take it down a notch. It's okay to just look at that one step and figure out, how do I get to this one step first? Okay. So I would love to hear if you guys utilize this for self-love or for your goals. I see someone said I can use it for my goals. I would love to hear in the comments eventually of how you guys utilize this activity, and I hope that it helps you. All right. So thank you guys for tuning in on my pop-up live here today. And don't forget, again, I'm a best-selling co-author in this Live Your Optimal Life. I am chapter 3, and I'm talking about self-love. All right, you guys, stay tuned. Hopefully I'll be back on live in the next week. I'll see you guys then.